Test the Nation, the National 2002 Test Part 2. Yes, it's time now for the moment of reckoning, and here are the people with all the answers. Please welcome back your hosts, Anne Robinson and Philip Schofield.
Terrific amount of excitement here in the studio. We're on a high waiting for the results to come in from all over the country. It's a bit like the general election, except it's a million times more interesting. I'll be handing out the answers very, very shortly, and then the real point scoring can begin at home.
Now, don't worry if you haven't been taking part in the test. There's still masses of fun to be had as we review the year's events and see exactly how much everyone has remembered.
If you've been playing online, you're very, very clever. You'll already have your score, but the rest of Britain is about to catch up.
Now, reaction here has been intense. We've witnessed some very mixed emotions. One of the rugby players is beside himself because he thought that Robert Mugabe played for Wigan. But quite simply, this has been the biggest interactive test of the year's events, and early results indicate that literally millions of people have taken part. So congratulations to all of you. Here in the studio are eagerly awaiting find out how they've done. Well, some of them are anyway. It's like one of those sort of multiplex cinema things here. It's well, we've got Meet the Parents over here. We've got Kevin and Perry, Go Large. Over here, of course, is Shampoo, competing with Taxi Driver. Got Working Girl over here. And of course, This Sporting Life. Come on!
The rivalries are really intense. Believe me, if the taxi drivers have done badly, they'll all be walking home tonight. And playing along and adding to their expert insight are our two sort of dashing panellists. That's the Mirror editor, Piers Morgan, who's incredibly good-looking, and political commentator, John Sargent. Perception and insight being, of course, their middle names. What do you think of the test so far, John?
I think it's been incredibly difficult, actually. I think people can easily do well on perhaps 3 or 4 sections, but to do well on all of them,
actually,
I think is going to be very difficult.
You've had a chance to chat to people. Lots of your readers here?
Oh, masses of them, yeah.
In which section?
Oh, I think cabbies, secretaries.
He knows how to get a chair.
Rugby players, hairdressers, teenagers, parents, celebrities. They all read the Mirror. Thank you.
Money on the winners? Have you got money on the winners? Come on.
Well, I can't believe the rugby players are winning. It's certainly changed all preconceptions
quickly,
about
Piers.
them. All preconceptions. My money's on the cabbies.
OK. I'm with Giles here, who's following the progress of the players on the internet, aren't you?
I am indeed.
What's the news so far?
We've got a figure for you at last. It's 21,512 have played on the net.
OK.
Over here in a state of mental exhaustion after all their labours, as well as remembering the news. Some of them have actually made the news this year, of course. Steve, you have done unbelievably well. You got your 4th gold medal. Hoping for a 5th?
Hope for a 5th? Crikey, that seems a long way away. 4 years... the Olympics is before that, and I think that's more important. Athens 2004, that's in the forefront of the mind.
Well, you wouldn't be like the guy that we showed the clip of earlier.
I hope not.
Never
if I
get
did
to
that,
that
I'd
stage.
be shameful.
How do you think the younger viewers have done, Connie?
I don't know, very well, I hope.
How do...
I think they've done extremely well.
Teenagers yelling over there.
Sure.
And what about you? How do you think you've done?
Oh, I think I was pretty ropey on the old sport, but, you know, you can't win them all, eh?
No, absolutely not. And Mark, you were deprived of news in the Big Brother house. Do you think that's sort of hampered you this evening?
It's a good excuse to have.
Will you be using that excuse?
Yes, probably.
Yes, all right. Well, we can't wait to find out how they've got on. Let's be honest, we can't wait to find out how they've got on. They don't want to know how they've got on. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Soon find out if they spend all their time living the high life in nightclubs or swilling champagne, or whether they live the real world as well. We'll soon find out. Annie.
OK, this is the bit we've all been waiting for. Good luck to everyone who's been playing at home, and to our studio audience. It is now time to give you the answers in Test the Nation, the National 2002 test. OK, first the news section. Now, we began with some of the biggest stories of the year. Here are the answers. Question 1. What approximately was the euro worth after it was officially launched in January? And the answer, C, 62 pence. The euro, of course, signalled the end of no fewer than 12 European currencies. Question 2. This year's A-level fiasco ultimately led to the resignation of which government minister? The answer is B, Estelle Morris. The teenagers know that. Around 20,000 teenagers had their exam papers incorrectly marked, costing some of them their university places. But for once, the cabinet minister put her hands up and said she was wrong, she'd made a mistake. Question 3. What disrupted the run-up to the Golden Jubilee concerts at Buckingham Palace? Do we get this? The answer, D. A heater caught fire in the palace. Luckily, the firemen's industrial action hadn't started, so no corgis with singed coats running around the grounds. Question 4. The name of the oil tanker that sank off Spain this year, potentially causing one of the world's biggest environmental disasters. Very quiet studio here. The answer, A. Prestige. It sank with 70,000 tonnes of fuel aboard. Question 5. During the Queen's mother's lying in state, one royal didn't take part in the vigil round her coffin. Who was it? The answer, C. Peter Phillips. Those who did take part were her grandsons Prince Charles, Prince Edward, Prince Andrew and Viscount Lindley. And they are the answers to the first section.
So, how did you do? Did you get those all right, Jeremy? How did you do? We'd expect you to do very well.
I got the euro one wrong.
Did you?
Yeah, 70
do you know
something.
there's one of you here that got 100%.
But it wasn't me.
No. Who do you think it is? Who got 100%? Well, you'll know.
No, it wasn't. No.
Mark thinks he got 100%. Well done.
Oh!
Charlie, 100%. At the moment, as it stands, the leading group is the rugby players!
Who would have thought it? Right. Section 2 tested your knowledge of where 5 major events took place in the world. The answers. Question 6. In which country were a group of British plane spotters found guilty but later acquitted of espionage? The answer is D, Greece. Some people, of course, felt anyone sad enough to have plane spotting as a hobby. If they didn't need arresting, they certainly needed to be put on medication. Question 7. Which European city's zoo had to be evacuated in August because of massive floods? The answer, A, Prague. The biggest movement of animals since Noah. Question 8. Which city hosted the 2002 World Summit, which opened in August? The answer, D, Johannesburg. They talked for days and finally agreed to meet again next year. OK, question 9. In which US state were 9 miners rescued after being trapped in a flooded mine shaft for more than 3 days? Answer B, Pennsylvania. One of the rescued miners was reported to have said that he'd never known such a cold and soulless place, but he'd obviously never been in the Big Brother house. Is that right, Mark?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. Yeah. OK, question 10. Which British town was the epicentre of an earthquake in September, measuring 4.8 on the Richter scale? The answer, D, Dudley. This was the largest quake to hit Britain in 10 years and was even felt as far away as London. And they are the answers to the second set. Philip, have you been making the Earth move for anyone recently?
Shaken a couple of times, yeah, perhaps. Not going to tell you, though. Piers, do people get their news now from newspapers or from television or from other areas?
Oh, I think that intelligent people get their news from the Daily Mirror. And I think socially dysfunctional, illiterate misfits get it from The Sun. And everybody else gets it from television, probably. No, I think to be serious, I think that it's changing more towards television, but newspapers in this country are still a huge part of people's lives, as is gossip.
Why do we love gossip?
People love gossip because they just love... I want to know all about Mark Owen. I don't know why. I wake up in the morning, I want to know what he's been doing. It makes me a very odd person, but there are millions like me. And Jeremy Bowen, I know what he's up to, and it's brilliant. And even Fiona Bruce, you can't imagine there's anything about her, but I know a dossier about this thing. It's absolutely amazing stuff.
We'll talk later.
Do you miss standing outside in the rain, John?
Not totally, no. I miss the sympathy vote. I rather like the idea that it was kind of victim television. And people would think, well, there must be something there. He must know something if he's being put in these horrible conditions night after night. And little old ladies would write saying they would knit me scarves and things like that. So that was sort of nice. I miss that bit of it. But I don't miss working 12-hour days, 15-hour days, ending at 10:30 at night.
There has been a change of position for first place. The rugby players are now in second place. In first place, the celebs!
We don't want the celebs winning, please. OK, one more news section, then we'll take a look at the leaderboard and see if the rugby players have actually caught up, or whether the questions have been too tough to tackle, or whether the hairdressers might curl up and die, or maybe even leave without a tip. OK. In this final news section, we showed you a series of front-page headlines and asked for the story they referred to. Let's see how you got on. Question 11. Romeo, Romeo, why for art thou Romeo? Whose son was that about? Well, it was Dee, of course, the Beckhams. The headline was in the Daily Mirror on September the 2nd. Like his brother Brookland, rumour had it Romeo would be named after the place he was conceived. So a bit of a disappointment because we were all looking forward to Beckham. Question 12. The Queen came through for me. Who did the Queen come through for? Of course, it was C, wasn't it? Paul Burrell. It was in the Times, that headline, on November the 2nd. The former butler to Princess Diana was cleared of stealing hundreds of items from the royal household, and the Queen's last-minute intervention prompted a storm of protest. Piers, did you actually believe that she'd suddenly remembered what had happened?
Yes, I think it was extraordinary the way the Queen recovered from her amnesia. I think we were all staggered, really, and it was a very great blessing for the royal family that minutes before Paul Burrell was about to spill the beans, they all remembered that, of course, he was innocent.
Are you saying you thought the Queen lied?
No, that would be a ridiculously stupid thing to do because she had been beheaded. So I think I would say that she was suffering from a mild dose of amnesia, and I hope she recovers very soon before more butlers get in the dock.
All right. Question 13. Goodbye, Prudence. Which politician was this about? The answer was Gordon Brown. Yes, it was in the Daily Mirror on November the 28th, after the Chancellor got his forecast wrong and committed us to borrowing $100 billion over the next 5 years. Whoops. Question 14. Heather weds Paul at Castle. Where was the castle? B, Ireland. This headline was from The Sun on June the 12th. 300 guests celebrated at Castle Leslie when Sir Paul McCartney married Heather Mills. He said, "Love me do," and she said, "Maybe when I'm 64. Question 15. Blair pressed over killer memo. What was the subject of Black Rod's communication? The answer was A, the Queen Mother's funeral. Headline from The Independent. A leaked document suggested the Prime Minister wanted the biggest role in the Queen Mother's funeral. Surely not. And as Fiona Bruce says most nights of the week, that's the end of the news. Have you ever thought of saying anything else, Fiona? Could you say, "I'm just about to take my clothes off," for example? Very predictable rugby players, aren't they?
Well, I've had a few letters to that effect, Anne, but no, so far I've managed to resist the temptation.
Oh, right.
Just.
God, imagine the viewing figures. OK, we're going to have a look at the leaderboard now.
Yep, there's always a lot of competition, obviously, to be the number one in the charts at Christmas, and the National 2002 Test is no different. This is our leaderboard, where we celebrate and commiserate with our studio groups. Also, we'll reveal their scores. So let's see how they performed after the news section. Here is the leaderboard. Teenagers at the bottom with 54%, the secretaries at 62%, hairdressers at 65%, the parents way ahead of their teenagers at 73%, cabbies at 78%, with the rugby players at 82%, which means the celebrities are at 87%. Let's have a word with our teenagers over here. You were head boy. We spoke to you earlier on. What is going on there? You're bottom.
Oh, right, yes.
What newspapers do you read? Do you read newspapers?
Occasionally, yeah. Well, I will be now.
Which newspapers do you read?
Well, the Daily Mail and sometimes the Mirror, yeah.
Is there anyone here who feels they're being held down by the rest of the teenagers? Or do you think... No one has... No, they're all happy to admit that they were all as bad as each other. OK, well, there's still plenty of time to go. Best of luck, teenagers. Obviously, your parents are looking there with big gloating faces. Pick it up, Annie!
I'm very disappointed with the secretaries, because it's the only all-female lot over here. Come on, girls, please. OK, time now for our second section. It's People 2002. This was about people who have dominated the year's biggest events. In our first section, we asked you to identify the missing faces. Let's see how you did. Question 16, who's the missing face here? The answer is C, Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry, who is the latest Bond girl in Die Another Day, the 20th Bond film, and 007 celebrated this year 40 years of saving the world, and it's astonishing he doesn't look a day older than when he started. Question 17, the answer is C, old Golden Balls himself. That's David Beckham at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games with 6-year-old Kirsty Howard, and that wonderful moment when Kirsty handed over the ceremonial baton to the Queen. Question 18, it's gone very quiet in here. Now, surely everyone got this. Surely the rugby players got this. The answer is A, supermodel Claudia Schiffer, yes? I don't think they did. If you remember rugby players, the Royal Prince got a cup and a quick kiss after he won a polo tournament. Question 19, the correct answer is D, Kevin Spacey. He escaped the glamour of Hollywood in favour of the Labour Party conference in Blackpool. Apparently Julia Roberts and Jennifer Lopez are insisting it's their turn next year. Question 20, the hidden face is A, James Callaghan. To commemorate her jubilee, the Queen was photographed with her Prime Ministers living, past and present. A remarkable picture because she even managed to catch Tony Blair on one of his rare visits to the United Kingdom. That was our missing face section. Straight on to section 2, because that was about the quotes of the year. Now, a lot of people have said a lot of things this year, most of them instantly forgettable. Let's see how you got on with some of the more memorable ones. Question 21, OK, who said British people don't seem to ask each other out on dates? The answer is B, Gwyneth Paltrow. She complained none of the men she met followed up with a phone call. In the case of Robbie Fowler from EastEnders, he said he just didn't fancy her. Question 22, who said never underestimate the determination of a quiet man? That was said at the Tory party conference by B, Ian Duncan Smith. Interesting to know how many people thought it was actually the Reverend Ian Paisley. Question 23, who said the Jubilee Girl is here? Correct answer is D, Dame Edna Everage at the Queen's Jubilee. The full quote, of course, was the Jubilee Girl is here possums, but that was a bit of a giveaway. Question 24, who said I wish my flat was filled with one big man in his blue underpants? A clue to this is the choice of colour. It was said by C, Edwina Curry, referring, of course, to her 4-year fling with John Major, thus making him the most famous member in the House of Commons. We've never found out whether they were Y-fronts or boxers. Piers, how come the Daily Mirror didn't have that story?
I'm ashamed of myself, to be honest. I have no idea. It was a huge one-fact scoop. We all missed it. We're all deeply mortified. But I must say, the thought of Edwina Currie and John Major at it is really so disgusting. I'm not sure I'd want to start with.
John, did it really come as a shock to you?
It did. I tell you why. Because I think, like lots of men, I didn't fancy Edwina Currie.
Why? How did they manage to keep it quiet?
Well, they were very good at that sort of thing. And of course, at the time when it happened, remember, he wasn't that well known. He was in the Whip's office, and she wasn't that
well. If it had come out during his premiership, it would have been the end of him, yeah?
If it had come out at the time it was happening, he probably wouldn't become Prime Minister. It's the rugby players.
OK, question 25. Whose quote was this? My mother always said, when you eat pretzels, chew before you swallow. Favourite for Piers Morgan, this. The answer is D, George W. Bush, who explained away cuts and bruises to his face by saying he fell during a choking fit. Cynical Americans, as well as the editor of the Daily Mirror, speculated that the president may have hurt himself because he was as choked as a newt. Is that another one who was lying, do you think?
Oh, he lies all the time, definitely, yeah. He's a very scary, very stupid man.
Do you think he'd had a drink or two that night?
Sorry?
Do you think he'd had a drink or two that night?
I wish he'd have a few more drinks now and just fall over a cliff or something.
Have you ever met him?
Sorry, but he's a...
OK, Philip, how are the rugby players doing there?
Well, I'll tell you in a moment. Let's just have a word with Paul here. Paul, it's your birthday today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
How old are you today, Paul?
28.
Thanks for spending your night here with us. How do you think you guys are doing?
I think we've done very well. I think we're going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
You are actually currently second to the celebs.
Oh, it's a fix.
You can't say it's a fix, it's a fact, mate. It's a fact. You've got to pick it up.
Philip, does he play rugby in his glasses?
No.
No?
No.
Takes them off.
Watch it, she's after you now.
Yeah, sorry.
OK. Our final part in the People section was about the movers and shakers of 2002, not Celebrity Fit Club. It was about those people who've moved up in the world during the year. Question 26. To which post was Rowan Williams appointed earlier this year? Well, Dr. Williams became our new Archbishop of Canterbury, so the correct answer was C. He's the first Welshman to be appointed to the post. A lot of Welsh people here. First Welshman for more than 1,000 years. We'll see him installed in February, hopefully without the beard. OK, question 27. Who was re-elected President of France in June this year? Hairdressers? Very blank over there. The answer is B, Jacques Chirac. A lot of people thought it was Jean-Pierre Raffarin, but he's the Prime Minister. It's confusing, but it's what you get when you behead your royal family. OK. Question 28. Who was appointed chairman of the Conservative Party after the departure of David Davis? The answer is B, Theresa May, who became the first woman to hold the post and the first chairman, I hope, to wear high-heeled leopard skin shoes. Or maybe not, John.
No, that's absolutely true. She was the first one to wear leopard shoes.
Now, Piers, when a good speech is made at a party conference, the next day the papers are full of how wonderful this person is and they might be the next leader. It's not much to judge one speech, is it, really?
No, I mean, you can't think Tory without thinking Duncan Smith, the quiet man, can you? And my view, he has a lot to be quiet about. And he's another one, rather like Bush, who should just disappear from public life.
Do you think he'll be here at the end of next year?
Well, if he is, the Tories won't be. I mean, what we need is an opposition, don't we?
OK. I don't think they care here.
Shall we get back to showbiz? Come on.
Question 29. Steve Fossett went up in the world this year and became what? A, the first solar balloonist to circumnavigate the globe. He travelled 20,000 miles in 30 days. Mind you, if he caught a train round Britain, he might have taken 20,000 days to travel 13 miles. Question 30. Who was appointed this year as the new Director General of MI5? The correct answer, D, Eliza Manningham Buller. Elizabeth Butler Slosh, for your information, is a High Court judge. Vicky Butler Henderson presents a car programme. As for Tara Palmer Tomkinson, well, it's quite hard to say what she does or the point of her. Never mind. And that completes the answers in the People section. Philip, is it true that this morning is just a front and you and Firm Britain are actually spies?
MFI, not MI5.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, let's have a look at this leaderboard now. Let's find out how we're doing. We can see that the teenagers still at the bottom. 57% for the secretaries, the hairdressers at 61, the parents at 66. Not a huge change at the top here. 71% for the cabbies. We have the rugby players at 78, with the celebrities still at 82%. Right, let's have a word with the secretaries. Just going to have a word with the secretaries. Here we go. Secretaries, here we go.
Not doing very well.
No, you're not doing very well, are you?
No, we're not. We're absolutely disgusted.
Is there
with
any
ourselves.
hope that you might pick this up?
Well, let's hope so. You never know.
No, obviously
you never know. There's always hope.
You've played the game now. You know what's coming up. Do you think you've done any better?
Well, we've got sport coming up next. So...
Sport? You think you were good at sport, weren't you? Okay.
Yeah, let's
all
hope
right.
so.
Okay. Well, best of luck. You know, all to play for.
What am I asking celebs? Okay. Celebs, you're all looking a bit dumbfounded. It must be a great shock to you.
No, it's not.
It's not a great shock?
No, it's not.
Are you even drunker now, Joe Brand?
No, but you won't hurt my family, will you?
Who's the brain box, do we think? Oh, really, Mark Owen?
No,
Are you good on current affairs?
No, not at all.
Do you read any newspapers?
Occasionally, yeah.
Just occasionally?
Yeah.
Right, anyone else? Jenny Bond, are you surprised celebs are top? Is it because of you?
Well, perhaps we're a rather sad case, really. All those teenagers have better things to do than watch the news.
Jenny Bond, you are the leading celeb.
I say. God,
Do you
that's
think
amazing.
it's all that time you've spent outside Buckingham Palace?
No, I tell you, my family said, don't go on it. You are so thick, you will be humiliated. So there you are, my family, see?
OK. How are we doing, Charlie? What do you think?
Well, apparently we're doing OK. Thanks to Jenny.
Now, Jeremy.
We feel a bit unpopular, to be honest.
Are you ashamed that you're not top dog here?
No, I'm not at all surprised I'm not top dog. I've got a few obvious ones wrong. And so, yep, I'm not surprised at all. I've got 4 wrong so far.
OK, well, it's an annoying thing because you're going to even shine better in this bit because, of course, it's the frothy bit of the show because we're moving on to the world of entertainment and you probably did quite well with this, actually. OK, we started with a round on television. Here are the answers. Question 31. John Thaw got a posthumous BAFTA. It was collected by B, Sheila Hancock, his widow. It was for John's performance in Buried Treasure, and he was voted for by members of the public, quite rightly. Question 32. Little Mo was sent down for attempting to murder husband Trevor. What did she attack him with? Quite right. It was, of course, answer C. She attacked him with an iron. It doesn't say here what setting the iron was on. OK, question 33. That was a bit late to laugh at that one. It's the rugby players, very slow. Tony Blackburn was the last celebrity left in the jungle. Who was the first to go? It was spoon-bending Supremo Uri Geller. Upon emerging, he said it wasn't a particularly pleasant experience, although you would have thought as a psychic he could have worked that out before he agreed to get involved. Question 34. In the 2002 series of Our Wiedersehen Pet, the boys reconstructed a bridge across a US canyon to give access to what? Yes, the answer is Deer Casino. The original cast were reunited after 16 years for the series, and it was brilliantly successful. Question 35. In The Office, which branch has been absorbed into David Brent? Surely the secretary's got this. The correct answer is Swindon, yes? The Office itself is based in Slough, and the series dominated this year's British Comedy Awards, winning the Best TV Comedy title, with the Best Comedy Actor Award going to co-creator Ricky Gervais. John, I know you're a great fan of The Office, aren't you?
I am, yes. I mean, I think it's a bit frightening, isn't it? It's so like all the offices you've ever known in some way or other, and it makes you feel like not going to work. They are, in a way, they're such tormented souls, aren't they? You feel, should we be enjoying their agony?
Piers, do you get time to watch any television?
Yes, in fact, my staff think I'm very like David Brent. I was John Travolta on Friday at the staff party, and there was a very surreal moment when everything parted and I was left on my own, thinking I was being really cool. It was a very embarrassing moment.
OK. Philip?
with the teenagers here, and we spoke to you earlier on, David Griffin. You said your dad has this very annoying habit of saying, "Well, you know best, you know best." Yeah. How do you think you're doing at the moment?
Well, I think my dad could be right, actually. It's not really going too well, is it?
It's not going so well. And what was interesting now, in that last section, you were all calling out the answers really quite confidently. I have to tell you that your parents are ahead of you. Your parents are 4. Oh God, the trip home is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? And your dad is ahead of you, and currently the teenagers are still last. And what's more, they're proud of it.
Teenagers are just being polite and humble. Right, our next section featured lines from famous films of the year, which we asked you to identify. Here are the correct answers. Question 36, in which film was the line spoken, "With great power comes great responsibility"? The answer is C, Spider-Man. It's the massive summer blockbuster. It took 10 million on its first week in the UK. Question 37, in which film was this line spoken? Kids these days, they just don't get scared like they used to. The answer B, Monsters, Inc. And that film depicts an organisation that creates terror and fear for its economic survival, a bit like New Labour, really. Question 38, in which film was this line spoken? The last suit you'll ever wear again. Now, the correct answer is Men in Black 2. Which saw the stars Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones reunited after 5 years. Question 39. In which film was this line spoken? I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks. That was a line from the Tom Cruise film Minority Reports. So the correct answer, D. An unusual premise, this film, where criminals are arrested before they commit a terrible crime. If only we could do that with hairdressers, don't you think? Question 40, in which film was this line spoken? There has to be a mathematical explanation for how bad that tie is. Such charm could only come from one man. It's Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. Yeah? The film, of course, won this year's Oscar for Best Picture and told the story of mathematician John Nash. Philip.
So I'm with the cabbies now. On the last leaderboard, you were 3rd. So we had a chat with you earlier on. I'm not quite sure what we talked about, actually. It's probably rather confusing. But 3rd, I mean, you're not obviously not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. We're getting beat by the ear biters over there. I don't know.
Do you guys think you can actually... You are waving here, you got your thumb up.
I've got big arms.
You have got big arms, yeah. Are you enjoying yourself?
Very much, Philip.
Now, are you disappointed with 3rd?
I am. We should be first. I think the celebs fixed.
No, it's not fixed. I promise it's absolutely genuine. What about 2nd for the rugby players? I mean, who'd have thought that?
Fixed as well.
The real winners. It's all fixed because you guys aren't in the lead. Is that what it is?
No.
He's a typical cab driver.
You know, I picked you up as a fare a little while back.
Did you?
Yes, indeed. You're a very nice rider.
You see, that's us ex-children's people. You see, we're all the same. Annie.
You know, I don't think cabbies like celebs, really. You know, one picked me up in Bond Street last week and says, I don't want to be impolite, he says, but on the telly, I think you're rubbish.
Was
that a good tipper?
Very good. And your wife, she did all the business.
Will you stop? I'm not talking to you again.
In the final entertainment section, we asked you to answer some melodic questions. Question 14, Will Young's debut single featured a song Evergreen. Now, what was the other track on the A-side release? The answer C, Anything Is Possible. Quite a year for Will Young. He beat 10,000 other hopefuls to become Pop Idol 2002 and then released the fastest-selling debut single ever. And if he's very lucky, we'll still remember who he is next year because the tabloids knock him down as soon as they put him up. Question 42. Who is the artist who won 3 Mobo Awards? Well, all trendy people like me and Philip knew the answer to this. It was A. Parents hadn't a clue. Miss Dynamite. Quite a year for her, riding high in the charts and winning Mercury and Top of the Pop Awards as well. Question 43. Why was Jennifer Pike's victory as 2002 Young Musician of the Year notable? The answer? A, yes. Parents looking confused again. At the age of 12, she was the youngest ever winner. She learnt to play the violin before she was 5 and won the competition with her performance of Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto. Question 44. All You Need Is Love was the theme song adopted by which 2002 event? The answer is B, the Queen's Jubilee Concert. No good, cabbies? OK. It's the first time public concerts have been held in the grounds of Buckingham Palace. Sir Paul McCartney reportedly asked the Queen if he could come back next year, and she said, find someone else's garden to ruin. Question 45. In this year's Eurovision Song Contest, where did British entrant Jessica Garlick finish? Not a lot of people know that, do they, round here? The correct answer, A, third. OK. In fact, she was joint third with the country that, of course, is most famous for its rock music heritage. That's Estonia. Piers, where do you stand on the Eurovision?
We don't.
You don't cover it at all?
I don't think so. If I find anyone who has, I'll fire them, to be perfectly honest.
OK. All right. And that indeed completes the answers from the entertainment section.
Let's have a look at this this leaderboard now. Has the lead changed? Are the teenagers managing to hike themselves off the bottom here? Here we go. Oh, they're still at the bottom. 57%. 59% for the secretaries. The hairdressers at 61. 63% for the parents, so still way ahead of the teenagers. 71% for the cabbies. It hasn't changed. Looks 75% for the rugby players. Just 1% in it. For the celebrities, let's do the longest run of the entire studio. Let's go to the hairdressers, and they are over here. Find out what on earth is going wrong here. Okay, we talked to you earlier on. Obviously, you fried your wife's hair off. What has happened here?
Well, we came here to have a great time, and just like hairdressers, we're having a ball.
So that's the most important thing.
Yes. Happy New Year.
What about music? I mean, are you a musical person?
Not too bad, yeah. I'm okay.
Do you play?
No, not
anything
at all.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Can I just tell you that it's not much consolation, but every single one of you got the Miss Dynamite question right. So well done. That's excellent, and that's terrific. I mean, a great result. And do you care who got the Christmas #1?
Not really.
Don't care? Not interested?
No.
What's your name?
Barbara.
Whereabouts are you from, Barbara?
Southampton.
OK, good stuff. And whereabouts are you from?
Southampton, exactly the same.
Are you? And what about you? Do you care who got the Christmas #1?
Not really, no.
And do you care about the fact that you're languishing down the bottom here?
No, having fun.
Just out having a good time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, well then, that's good. Annie.
OK, our penultimate section, which for the benefit of the hairdressers means the last but one section. It was all about sporting achievements in 2002. OK, first off, we looked at sports stories that have made their way from the back pages to the front. Here are the answers. Question 46. Which sporting legend underwent a liver transplant in July? The correct answer, C, George Best. George quipped that they'd run low on blood during the operation and that he ended up having 40 pints in 10 hours, beating his previous record by 20 minutes. Question 47. Before the 2002 World Cup, Ireland manager Mick McCarthy had a well-publicised spat, which puts it lightly, with which player? The answer, D, Roy Keane. Keane was sent home after verbally abusing the manager in front of the other players, and despite mediation, he refused to apologise and spent the tournament back in Ireland. Question 48. Scotsman Alan Baxter was stripped of his skiing medal at the Winter Olympics. Why? The answer is C. Baxter gave a positive drug test after innocently using a decongestant inhaler. It contained a banned substance, and I suppose losing the medal got up his nose as well. Question 49. Who captained the European golf team to victory against the USA in this year's Ryder Cup? The answer is D, Sam Torrance. Yes, he led the team to a memorable 15.5 to 12.5 quite a result. Question 50. Who knocked Tim Henman out of the 2002 Wimbledon Championships? The answer is the eventual winner of Wimbledon, Leighton Hewitt, so the correct answer is B. Poor old Tim lost his 4th Wimbledon semi-finals in 5 years. Are you a Wimbledon fan, Philip?
Yeah, I watched Wimbledon. Lots of good tennis. Those two guys who sneaked onto centre court, play for a laugh, Greg and Tim. But let's see if the people who should know about sport did actually know about sport. Paul, the birthday chap down here, we've talked to you a couple of times. What percentage would you have been happy with this evening?
This evening, well, personally?
Yeah, your personal percentage.
65.
And that would have been all right?
Yeah.
You actually got 72%. Well done. And... a few people we haven't spoken to yet. What's your name?
Andy.
Now you guys you're all from Liverpool, aren't you?
No.
You're not from Liverpool.
Verwood in Dorset.
Oh, I got completely the wrong part of the country there. But it doesn't matter because there are a lot of people on the web who are playing obviously for their regions. So how do you think the sort of South is going to do?
I think we're doing very well. Yes, I think the South's done.
Now we're sort of running out of time for you guys to take the lead here. Do you reckon you stand much of a chance?
I think we've won overall, yes.
Yeah, you are actually still second. Still second, guys. Unfortunately, still in the lead, and you can boo as much as you like. It's the celebs still in the lead.
Very disappointing. OK, our second section was all about sporting record breakers in this section. Question 51. Michael Schumacher won the 2002 Formula One Championship. Which team did he race for this year? The correct answer is A, Ferrari. And in doing so, he becomes only the second man in history to win 5 world titles and 3 in a row. Next year, they are threatening to handicap him by making him have a tow of a caravan behind. Question 52. Ian Thorpe dominated the swimming events at the Commonwealth Games, winning 6 gold medals. What's his nickname? It's D, of course, Torpedo. This remarkable Aussie is equally famous for his size 17.5 feet. And of course, as all female hairdressers know, men with big feet have very big shoes. Yes, behave yourselves, hairdressers. Question 53. Paula Radcliffe broke the women's world marathon record this year. What city did she achieve this in? D, yes, in a time of 2 hours, 17 minutes and 18 seconds. She broke the records on the streets of Chicago, and she completed a brilliant 2002 by winning the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Question 54. In July, Man United reportedly paid a record 30 million transport fee to which club for Rio Ferdinand? The answer is C, Leeds United. Leeds' form suffered without having Rio in the side, while Manchester United forms flourished, although they didn't have Rio in the side. Question 55. Jockey Tony McCoy this year broke a 55-year-old record for the number of winners ridden in a season. Now, who'd held the record previously? The secretaries haven't a clue. It was A, Sir Gordon Richard. In April, McCoy actually beat Sir Gordon's record of 269 winners. He finished the season with 289. And that is the end of the second lot of questions on sport.
Well, I know that some of our celebrity guests here have been dreading the sports round. One of them was Connie, actually. You were dreading this round.
Yeah, I actually did better than I thought, but, you know, I screwed up really badly on things where I didn't read the question properly.
Ah, what, bit of finger trouble or just not concentrating?
Just, yeah, just overwhelmed by the whole experience.
Have you found it harder because it's against the clock? Have those 15 seconds hampered you?
Yeah, I think so. I sort of like to take my time with things, don't like to be rushed into a decision.
How about you, Jeremy?
I've had a bit of finger trouble as well, I'm afraid to say, yeah.
So far, not a single Teletubbies question.
I was hoping all evening.
Yeah, it's not come up.
No.
Are you a sport? You've written a book, haven't you?
No, I'm writing one at the moment. It's about
what's
the Middle East, though. It hasn't helped tonight at all.
Do you think you might be in the lead?
No.
No, you're actually not. The person who's in the lead, Joe, you talked to me earlier on about your bloke who did very well in the IQ test, or at least he told you he did.
Yes.
What did he say he got? Some massive IQ.
137.
Right. Do you believe that? Do you think that's...
Possibly.
Possibly. OK, well, I can tell you
I
that...
beat him, and he still said he got 137.
Well, it'll be interesting
so-
if he is playing and not drunk this evening, if he is going along with the programme at
No,
home.
that's
because...
not my bloke. The one I met that was drunk, I didn't know.
Oh, it's completely different guy. Well, I can tell you that you are in the lead in the celebrities now with 84%. So well done, Joe.
OK, our final lot of questions in the sporting section was a replay of the triumphs and disasters of this sporting year. Here are the answers. Question 56, Brazil's Ronaldinho, I can't even pronounce that, scored the goal that put England out of the 2002 World Cup. Who did Brazil then face in the semi-finals? The answer is B, Turkey. Now, there was much criticism of David Seaman's goalkeeping after the match. The England keeper is reputed to have said, "I don't get upset, I just let everything go over my head." Question 57. Marathon winner Francis Nali ran an extra lap, wonderful, at the 2002 Commonwealth Games. Where was the stadium? Yes, it was B, Manchester. Nali said he enjoyed competing in Manchester, though he felt that carrying an umbrella slowed him down a bit. Question 58. Serena Williams won the 2002 Wimbledon singles title for ladies. How many times had she won it before? Yeah, the answer is A. She'd never won it before. And in doing so, she, of course, wrestled the title from her sister, Venus. Question 59. Javelin thrower Elvis Smith represented, sadly, which country in the Commonwealth Games? Very silent again here. The answer is D, Turks and Caicos. After that disastrous show, the loudspeaker was heard to announce Elvis has left the competition. Question 60. The British women's curling team won gold at the Winter Olympics. What was the name of the skipper? Correct answer is A, Rona Martin. Now, the team believed that just family and close friends would stay up to watch the match, and they were amazed and thrilled to discover 6 million viewers were there cheering them on. And that, folks, completes the answers in the sports sections.
So then, which group is heading for the winner's podium? Which team is going for an early bath? Not at the finishing line yet, but there's certainly a degree of jostling for position going on. We'll find out who is in the lead with our leaderboard in the studio. And, surprise, surprise, teenagers still down at the bottom. It's closing a little bit there. Secretary's now at 59%, the hairdressers at 62%. Parents leading their kids at 64%, the cabbies at 72%. So, has this changed? Has the lead changed? Yes! So they haven't taken the lead. They haven't actually taken the lead, but they have now drawn with the celebrities. Let's have a word with the parents over here. And now we spoke to you earlier on about your pub quizzing.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be doing much good. I mean, you're sort of what,
No.
fourth place?
Well, it's probably as good as I do in the quiz on a night anyway.
You only got second twice, didn't you?
Yep,
Yeah,
great
looking
save.
like fourth tonight.
It's a change.
It makes a pleasant change.
Yeah.
It's a night out. Well done, Annie.
How do you get... OK, Piers, how, as a sports person, do you get from the back page to the front page? Do you have to have a sexy life?
No, you just drop your trousers. I think it's quite straightforward.
OK.
Yeah.
Other than Beckham?
Other than Beckham, well, Beckham certainly won't be dropping his trousers, I shouldn't think. Or Posh
Who
has
else
something
do you
to say
see
about
in the coming year as being a big sports star?
it. Thierry Henry, Sylvain Boultourde, Patrick Vieira, David Seaman. It's the same old team, I'm afraid. I can see us heading relentlessly to another double, treble, quadruple.
John, are you a sporting man?
I used to play rugby at school.
That was quite a long time ago, was it?
No, not that long ago. And I was a hooker in a team when I was 15, and the captain was one Tony Blackburn.
Oh, really? You were at Millfield then?
Yeah, I was.
OK. You don't look like a big sporting man. You can never tell.
No,
can
but
you?
we were fantastically good when I was 15, yeah.
OK. All right, our final section was general knowledge. Whoops! I need a cab. OK, this time we've got 10 quick questions to give you the chance to pick up those much-needed extra points. Let's see how you got on. Question 61. Where was the Queen Mother buried? The correct answer, C, Windsor. On April the 9th, the Queen Mother was buried next to her husband, King George VI, in the St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. Question 26. Who married Sarah Girling in July? The answer is B, Lib Dem leader Charles Kennedy. The happy couple took their vows in the House of Commons Chapel. That's the first time a politician has made a promise at Westminster that he might intend to keep. OK, question 63. Which of these books won this year's Booker Prize? Teenagers? Correct answer, A. I don't think the cabbies were too pleased with that answer. It was Jan Martel's Life of Pi, and of course the prize for the best work of fiction should really have gone, we think, to Virgin Railway's Timetable. Question 64. Which convicted fraudster helped Cherie Blair purchase 2 flats? The correct answer, A, Peter Foster. Of course, controversy has surrounded the Prime Minister's wife because of her close association with a known con man. That's other than her husband. Mrs. Blair explained it was an oversight. She'd been juggling too many balls, and Ian Duncan Smith, in his one witticism of the year, said, on the other hand, the trouble with Mr. Blair was he didn't so much juggle as talk balls. Question 65. Robert Mugabe ordered the expulsion of white farmers from their homes this year. In which country? The correct answer, D, Zimbabwe. Mr. Mugabe had defiantly continued with his policy of giving the land to black farmers despite European condemnation. OK? Question 66. Which British warship ran aground in Australian waters in July? The correct answer, A, HMS Nottingham. Don't think that was very successful. The skipper responsible said, this sort of calamity always happens when I hand my wife the map and let her do the navigating. Question 67. The 2002 Miss World contest was moved to London from where? The correct answer, D, Nigeria. The pageant was relocated after 200 people died in religious riots, and the contest was finally held earlier in December. For the record, the winner came from Turkey. Question 68. Who wrote A Prison Diary by FF8282? It was published in October. The correct answer is B, Jeffrey Archer. Fascinating reading. Day 1 went to the theatre. Day 2 went to a party. Day 3 went home for the weekend. You get the picture? Archer's also the man who famously said this year, the good thing about playing for the prison cricket team is all the matches are home games. Question 69. What does the R in MMR stand for? Correct answer, C, rubella. Controversy has reigned this year over the safety of the MMR vaccine. MMR, as you all know, I am sure, stands for measles, mumps and rubella. Final question, number 70. Whose face is on the back of the new £5 note brought into circulation this year? The correct answer is B, Elizabeth Fry. I wonder how many people at home were able to answer that without fishing out their wallets. OK. Well, the good news is that you have just participated in the biggest ever interactive review of the year, the National 2002 Test. Well done. With ourselves here. How did you get on? We'll find out the results very soon. They're coming in from all parts of the UK. Will there be tears of joy from England and Northern Ireland? Will the Scots be dancing? Even more important, will the Welsh be singing? Philip?
We are all looking forward now to finding out how our studio groups did with a final look at our leaderboard. And I know the parents are very keen to know whether it's going to be bearable to travel home with their children. We actually think there's major problems here. You guys have let yourselves down badly. The secretaries are keen to know who is the boss. And also, of course, the rugby players. We want to know who it is between the rugby players, the secretaries and the cabbies. Those are our teams. Who is the top of the leaderboard? Annie?
Right, I have to say, just before we go to that, that apparently question 22 was missed out. That must have been your fault. The answer is Ian Duncan Smith. It was B, Ian Duncan Smith. OK, are we going to look at the leaderboard now? Have we got the leaderboard coming up? OK, who do you think is going to win, Piers?
Oh, the rugby players, maybe? It can't be this long. That would be a terrible thing for British life if the celebrities win, I think. They have enough creature comforts. I want to get the rugby players going. Come on, let's let them on. Sorry, cabbies, but you've blown it. It's these guys.
Piers, what's the story you'd most have liked to have seen this year that didn't happen?
That didn't happen. Anne Robinson cemented, I think, would have been my favourite story.
Not nice. Can you think of anything better, John?
No, buried and
That's all right.
Not very nice, our celebs. Gary, how are you doing?
All right, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, to do with the quiz, dear. To do with the test.
To do with the what, dear?
To do with the test.
Yeah, the test, yeah.
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 You think you've done well?
Well, I thought I was doing really well until I realised I had my actual keypad upside down. And I think I've done all right.
Kwame, how do you think you've done?
I think I did well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you read a lot of newspapers?
Kind of.
Right. Who do we think is the winner amongst you? Is it still going to be Joe Brown? How can you combine motherhood and being so clever at general knowledge and the year's events?
Because you are my role model.
There's no need to be sarcastic. Mark Owen,
Yes.
are you hopeful?
Well, if Joel's won, I think I've not done too bad because I was kind of sat next to Jo and...
So she helped you?
No, well...
Well, we helped each other.
OK. Philip?
Now then, we crammed this test into just 70 questions. So your score at the moment is out of 70. Now it's time to convert that score into percentages. The mathematicians at the BBC have devised a simple table. Your score is out of 70. It will appear on the left-hand side of your column, and in the right-hand column is the equivalent percentage. OK, so for example, if your test score is 35 out of 70, then the right-hand column will read 50%. OK, so you're just looking for the left hand and then the right hand. OK. Marvellous, there you go. Got that nice and clear? Here we go. Now you do your conversion. With what is in front of you now, the percentage you've got. If it's any consolation, I did this test last night and got 76%, which I was actually rather disappointed in. So here we go. I'm told now that our final results are in. These results are taken from the people who have played on the web, so only those who registered on the web, and these are the results from them. First of all, we are looking at the nations, and we can see that England is at the bottom with 59%, Scotland with 60%, joint with Wales, but the leading nation is 61% with Northern Ireland. And yes, well done, well-deserved round of applause. Splitting that into the BBC regions now. South East, oh dear, way down the bottom with 57%. With the South West and the East Midlands on 58%, 59% North Eastern Cumbria, moving up through the 60s, loads of 60s there. West Midlands, the East, the Wales, North West and Scotland. 61% for the West, joint, oh look at that, that's the top. 61% joint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Northern Ireland, the North, London, South and the West. So let's see if we can split them now, and we'll do capital cities. So the leading capital city is certainly not London. London, 59% joint with Cardiff. Edinburgh at 60%, but look at this, Belfast, 62%. Leading nation and leading capital city. Other major cities now. See, is yours here? Are you playing on the web? Did you help this evening? Lots of 59s there. Way down the bottom, we've got Londonderry with 51%, 58% for Plymouth, a whole raft of 59s there. And coming up, the 60s, Norwich, Manchester, well done to you. Leicester, 60, Glasgow, 60%, Bristol, 60%. Aberdeen at 61%, but it's the Welsh, Anne, it's the Welsh. Aberystwyth, 62%. Okay, so we asked which newspapers you were reading. Which newspaper did you read? Piers will be interested in this. Non-readers, tabloid and broadsheet. Non-readers, 54%. The tabloids got 60%, but it was the broadsheet readers, the brainy ones. Piers, 60% for the tabloids.
That's obviously a fix, isn't it? It's quite obvious to me now. The whole thing's a scam.
Those are the average percentage scores, of course. Now let's have a look at the age group. Who were the brightest here? The teenagers done very badly this evening. The over 70s, 38%. Maybe they have slightly less access to the internet, so that's probably to be expected. 50 to 70% age group, 64% joint with 35 to 49-year-olds, 62% for the 25 to 34s, 16-24s, 59. So that means that in joint first place, the 35 to 49s and the 50 to 70-year-olds. The older you are, the clever you are. By the look of things, it's a bit of wisdom. All right, okay, well, let's have a look at drinkers. We asked if you never drank, if you drank occasionally or you drank regularly. So does drink help your intelligence? Never, 55%. Occasionally and regularly, neck and neck with 62%. What about if you travelled? If you were a well-travelled person, go around the world, like lots of holidays, we would have thought, obviously, the hairdressers might, certainly they would have discussed it a lot. Would it have helped travellers? And those who never go away, 56%, occasionally go away, 59%, but regularly go away, the well-travelled people have come out in the lead with 61%. And now, the big battle. Male versus female. This is the one we are waiting for. Who is the brightest? 61% for the men, 57% for the girls. Congratulations to you. I hope that you were very pleased with whatever work you put into the web this evening and you represented your country or your nation or your city well.
Computer tells us that 20,000 people around the country played via the website. There's been some very high scores. The highest scorer so far is David McCoy from Northern Ireland, and we've got him on the line now. Hello, David.
Hi there, Anne. How you doing?
Now, by rights, you should come from Aberystwyth and be over 35 and read a broadsheet. Is that right?
Clearly not true. Well, except the broadsheet. I'll give myself that one.
What did you fail on?
A couple of the showbiz ones. My knowledge of Pop Idol wasn't what it could be.
What do you do, by the way?
I'm unemployed.
I didn't hear that. What was that?
I'm unemployed.
You're unemployed. Are you hoping to get a job?
I hope so. I mean, I'm enjoying a life of leisure at the moment, but I hope in the new year things will pick up.
What would you like a job as?
I don't know. Whatever comes along, Anne, I'm not fussy. I'll just get on my bike and go and do some work.
Right. Well, David, you really deserve a job because your score was 96%. Very good indeed. Is he still there?
No, I'm here.
Is there a wife at home?
No, on my own. So I'm back with the family for Christmas.
OK, well, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
OK.
OK, cheers.
Thank you. OK. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. The winning group. Dear. I'm afraid, teenagers, you're at the bottom. Secretary is very disappointing, 60%. Hairdressers, 62%. They get a cheer themselves whatever the score. Parents, 65%. Cabbies, 74%. That's very good. The rugby player.
So close. It's been a very tight battle all night, actually. Well done, guys.
If they just tried a bit harder, if they hadn't gone to the pub last night, they would have.
So let's, I think we should find out who now is our winning celebrity in the winning group. I'm still waiting for that piece of information in my ear. Hold on. Ah, now I have it. I now have that information, and the winner, celebrity who has the highest score, is Jo Brand! Do we have Jo's percentage? What was Jo's percentage, just so everybody knows? 87%. Well done. Excellent.
OK, so the answer is to get drunk before you start the test, because that's what she said she did. But who's the studio winner? Is it coming down my ear? Now, here's your big moment. It's in the rugby group. OK, and this person in the rugby group has done better than Jo Brand. They have got 93%.
Oh.
Down by his colleagues.
He's Nick Barber! Nick Barber! Given to Prince Charles by the Sultan of Brunei. Well done, you are the leading studio player. Well done. Good stuff.
What position does he play?
What position do you play, Steve?
Flanker Nick.
He's how quickly I forget. Memory of a goldfish. He's a flanker. A flanker. Flanker.
OK, Piers, before we go, how well would you have done if you'd been playing along?
Oh, much better than the rugby players, definitely.
Right.
No question in my mind.
So, have you got a prediction for next year?
Yes, I have, yes. Arsenal to win the quadruple. Is it boring now? And Jo Brand to be on the receiving end of some terrible tabloid coverage with that very smug grin off her face.
OK. John,
along with the rest of them.
Who'll be running the country by this time?
Same as this year, Alistair Campbell.
And Philip, what about our celebrities?
Well, I've just managed to get the trophy. Here we go. Been looking for that, Jo. It's your bloke, whichever one it happened to be at the time, was as you said, did very well on the IQ test. We'd like to present you with that for being our top celebrity. Well done.
Thank you very much.
The information continues to be analysed by Giles and the team of Computer Whiz Kids, and you'll be thrilled to know that everything, including our wonderful conversion table, is going to be available via our website, www.testthenation@bbc.co.uk, or by keying in 623 on CFAX, and you can still take the test up to January the 17th. How about that?
Yeah, that was good fun. What a good night. Well, that's just about it. We can't leave without thanking some people who've made this evening such a great success. Firstly, our studio groups. 300 people locked in for over 3 hours without complaining once. You've been great. Thank you very much.
And a big thank you to our celebrities. They've been great here. And not a single plug for a panto all evening. Also, our experts, John and Piers, you've been terrific. Thank you very much indeed.
It's been an amazing night here. We hope that we've encouraged this spirit of friendly competition without seeing too many mince pies thrown in anger, and that it's just the turkey that's been stuffed.
And thank you very much at home for joining us. And from the National 2002 Test It's goodbye. We'll see you again in 2003. From all of us here, 300 in the studio, our celebrities, our experts, and our cabbies, hairdressers, teenagers, the lot. Merry Christmas!